Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Karen and I am a fashion blogger. I am going to be sharing all about the equipment that I use to shoot my content for all of my social platforms, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, my blog. There's quite a bit to go over, so let's just get into it. So the first thing that I'm going to be talking about today is my cameras. I think that's a very simple place to start. So when I first started my blog about 3.5 years ago, I shot all of my stuff on my phone. This phone, although it was 3.5 years ago, so I probably had like an iPhone 6 or something like that. It was a different time, I think. So I did that for probably like at least 9 months, honestly, if not my whole entire first year before I got a camera. And it was fine and it worked out really well for me. The only issue is that on my website, the quality just did not work as well using the images from my camera. So that was really the main reason why I wanted to upgrade to an actual camera. And my first camera that I used was a point and shoot like Canon camera that my brother had actually gifted to me. He was like, I don't need this anymore, so you can have it if you want. So I took it and it was such a step up from using my phone. I cannot even describe to you how much better my content looked just by switching to a camera. So, you know, if you are just starting out and you're not sure about getting a camera, obviously use what you have and start with your phone. It's super simple. Honestly, I still use my phone like probably 70% of the time when I need to shoot any photos or if I want to shoot quick videos. But you know, if it's something that you are serious about and you want to really dive into it, I would definitely recommend upgrading to a camera eventually when you're ready, because cameras can be a little bit pricey. So after upgrading to my first point and shoot camera, I used that for probably another like 2 years maybe, or at least 1.5 years or something like that, before I upgraded to my first DSLR camera. So I got my first DSLR in like March of 2020. I had kind of been thinking about, no, 2020? 2021. I had kind of been thinking about upgrading anyway, and especially being home all the time with the pandemic, I was like, if I'm gonna like step it up, now's the time. So I got my first DSLR, which is this one. It is a Nikon D5600, and this is a really great camera if you're a beginner. It's super easy to use, and you know, I took the time to learn photography, of course, because it would have been very challenging to use a camera like this if I didn't learn photography. Even though it does have a fully automatic function, I thought that it would be well worth my time to learn the manual functions instead. So yeah, this was my very first camera. I love it as my first camera, but there's a lot of things that I don't love about it. First off is that there's not a ton of lens options, not the lenses that I would want to have as a content creator. And then you can't use a Bluetooth remote with it, which if you are shooting your own content on a tripod, that is something that comes in really handy. So I would recommend doing a lot of research if you are gonna invest some money in something like a DSLR camera, because not all of them have that function, and that's something that I wish I had looked into further before purchasing this one. But it is a great camera. I'm not quite ready to get rid of it just yet, but I think maybe next year if I decide to upgrade, you know, I'll probably end up selling this one and using that money to get a better one. So my next camera purchase was actually a camcorder. And I use it very sparingly, honestly. I don't use it too much. I just got it maybe a couple of months ago though, so I have plenty of time to start using it more often. This one is the Sony Handycam. It's really great, honestly. It's like super cute, really easy to use. The quality is pretty good considering it's a camcorder. And I use it mainly for shooting B-roll in between my YouTube, for my YouTube videos when I'm not doing any talking or I just want to show kind of a time lapse. I'll usually use that camera, and it is really great for things like that. I know a lot of people like camcorders now because it has that kind of vintage feel to it, and they're also super portable, really easy to carry around, and they're not as fragile as a camera like this that has an interchangeable lens, because these lenses are super fragile and they are a ton of money if you need to replace them. So I really like the camcorder for just like the durability and the flexibility of being able to kind of take it with me wherever I'm going. And the very last camera that I have is the one that I am shooting on right now. It's a Canon EOS M50 Mark II. This camera I researched for probably like a year before I finally decided to purchase it. A lot of YouTubers use it to shoot their videos the same way that I'm doing right now. So that was the main draw for why I purchased it. I really love it, actually. I have like been using it for everything since I got it. I probably got it, I don't know, maybe like a month and a half ago, something like that. And it's been fantastic. The quality is really fantastic for my videos, and I love it for photos. It's just very sharp. It's mirrorless, so it's really quiet. It's very, very quick, but I think the quality is just fantastic on this camera, so I love using it for photos. It also uses, I got the video creator kit, so it comes with this little handheld tripod, and it also comes with this Bluetooth remote, which I have been using all the time to shoot photos now with. I love this camera so much. It's probably my favorite camera out of the three. But again, my only complaints with this one and my Nikon are just that it's not a full frame camera. So the quality is fantastic, but it's not as great as it could be. So that's my only complaint, and it's something that I wish I had done more research on when I was shopping for cameras. So if you are planning to use your camera more so for photos, I think that is something that you should definitely look into a little bit more, and make sure that you have tons of lens option, or not tons, but the lens options that you need for what you're planning to do with it. And if you can get a camera that has a full frame sensor, I think that is really important, because the quality of your images is going to be like 10 times better than using a camera with a smaller sensor like these have. So the next piece of equipment that I am using is my ring light. My apartment, especially now that it's winter, just is not getting as great natural light as it does in the summer, and when it's sunny for longer throughout the day. So it's about 2 o'clock right now, and it is like super dark in this room, so I had no choice. It's also a cloudy day, but I really had no choice but to supplement my lighting with the ring light. Now, I love this ring light, and it comes in handy for when I need it for situations like this, but it's just not my favorite. I think it's pretty small, so I wish I had either a second one or something else to kind of supplement it. So I've been looking into like a softbox light situation or LED panels, but I just can't decide, so I haven't gotten anything else yet. I do like the ring light, and I'm going to continue to use it while I need to, but It's definitely not my favorite. You know, it was like a cheapy one. I got it from Amazon for, I don't know, like 50 bucks or something back in like the beginning of the pandemic, I think, or middle of the pandemic, when everyone was like buying up ring lights and tripods, and like you couldn't find them for, they were like price gouging ring lights and they were like $90 for some reason. I highly recommend getting some supplementary lights if you either don't have great natural light, or if you know you can't get outside one day and you need to shoot things. It's always great to have that as a backup. So next up on my list of equipment that I use to shoot my content is going to be a tripod. I shoot like 99% of my content by myself. It just works out for me better that way usually. Occasionally I will have my boyfriend shoot some photos with me if, you know, we're going for a walk and I want to just snap something really quick. Or I have one friend who is a photographer, and she always is, you know, has creative ideas and is looking for people to help execute them. So I shoot with her also, you know, when our schedules work out. So, you know, 90% of the time I am shooting my content by myself. So in order to shoot my content by myself, I need to have tripods. I have a couple of tripods. Right now I'm using one that I got from Amazon. I got it back in August because I went on a trip to Hawaii, and it's pretty compact. It's not super tiny, but it is pretty compact. And it was great for travel. It's been pretty much all I'm using. It's got a lot of variety in how you can set it up, so I love it. I don't think I will be getting another tripod unless this one breaks for whatever reason. But before that, when I first started, I had another tripod that I had gotten from Amazon for like 20 bucks. It was really cheap, and I used it for probably like 2 years, maybe 2.5 years, until it broke. So once that one broke, I upgraded to this one, which I loved, and I used it for a really long time. Probably, I mean, like the last 1.5 years or so. Yeah, like about 1.5 years maybe, since the other one broke. This one is from Amazon also. It's from the Amazon Basics line, and it was really awesome. I loved it. It's super durable. It's kind of heavy, but it's not super heavy where you like couldn't carry it around for a few hours if you needed to. I feel like it doesn't have as much flexibility as this one that I'm using. It's also not as tall, but other than that, like, it's a fantastic tripod. And this was only like 25 bucks or something like that. So if you are like just starting out and you want to get a nice tripod to start with, this one is a really, really great one to start with. And I also mentioned this like kind of before, but my Canon camera came with this, which is a handheld tripod that just opens like this. It's really great for if I need to just set my camera up on like a desk or something like that, or when I'm walking around vlogging, like it's great for that. So this one I love also. It's come in really handy, like just for quick shots that I want to get done during the day. Next thing on my list of equipment that I use, now we're kind of getting into things that I don't use that often, or I don't use them every day, but I still find them useful when I do use them. So one of those things is a backdrop stand and a backdrop. I sometimes don't have a great space to shoot my content, especially like when I was living at my parents' house. You know, I didn't design that space, so it was very difficult to get the kind of nice background that I was looking for. When I first started, or honestly not when I first started, like just a couple of months ago, maybe a year ago, I started with using just like a bed sheet as a backdrop. I have a background stand, this absolutely massive thing. I got it from Amazon, and It's great. It's super sturdy. I love it. I don't think it was that expensive. I'll have to find it and I will make sure to link it in the description. But I like to use, yeah, I was ordering the backdrop stand and I bought like literally bed sheets to use as a backdrop for a very long time. I did that for probably like a year. I finally just recently upgraded to this. I got like a curtain. It's used for like wedding photos, I think, usually. But it's basically just a fabric curtain. It's sort of sheer, but not super sheer. And I started using that. I tried it out the other day and it looks really nice, but you know, it's not, a backdrop is not something that I would use every single time. It takes up a lot of space, and it's very like tedious to set it up and then have to take it down after when you're done. So I like it and I definitely recommend it if you want to experiment and you want to try different things, or you don't have a beautiful space that you can shoot with all the time. It's really a great option to have. I also have been looking into getting a roll of seamless paper to use as backgrounds, but again, the rolls are kind of big, so I don't necessarily have the storage space to add another thing to my collection of equipment, so I haven't decided on something like that, but it is something that I've looked into a few times and definitely is a great option if you do have, you know, the space to store it and you have enough space in your living quarters. Yeah, so backgrounds. I don't use them that often, but I think they are a great option to have, especially once you're getting a little bit more advanced in shooting your content. It's nice to have something else to play around with and just get creative. So the very last thing that I'm going to talk about as far as equipment that I use is going to be my storage. I take a ton of photos now doing YouTube. I take a ton of videos and those files take up a lot of space. I need somewhere to store them where they're not taking up a ton of space on my computer and slowing everything down and making it more difficult to work. So I have an external hard drive. This one is the LaCie hard drives. Like, everyone uses these. They are a little bit expensive. This one is just a 2 terabyte one and it's great. I think it was like $80 or something like that. And it's fantastic right now because I only just started YouTube. I have plenty of space on it because my photo files are only so large, and I don't have a ton of video files yet either. So this is great. It connects to my computer. It's got a USB-C connector, and I think that is pretty much it. So I think I will probably do a separate video on everything I do after I shoot, maybe like editing and, you know, some of the software I use, things like that. If you want to see that, I'm happy to do it. So let me know in the comments if you would be interested in seeing some of the equipment I use to edit my photos and how I actually edit them. But other than that, that is all the equipment I use. So thank you for watching this extremely long video. I really appreciate you coming back to my videos, or if you're watching for the first time, I appreciate you getting this far. Go ahead and like and comment and subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'm happy to answer them. You can follow me on Instagram, Pinterest, my blog, everything. I'll have all of that linked below, as well as all of the equipment that I mentioned in today's video. So with that, thank you for watching, and I will chat with you next time. Bye!